Okay. Hi, the meeting of South San Francisco Traffic Safety Commission for Tuesday, February 8th, 2022 at 5:33. Will please come to order. Can I have a roll call, please?
Sure thing. Chair Abarca,
Here.
Vice Chair Malfatti,
Present.
Commissioner Monzon,
Here.
and Commissioner Ewan.
Here.
All right, all are accounted for.
Okay. Are there any changes to the order of the agenda?
None from staff side. Yeah, no changes unless the other commissioners have any changes they want to make. I don't think so. I'm seeing
No
none.
changes on my side.
Okay, great.
Do we have any public comment?
No, Chair. We, as of 5 p.m. today, we did not receive any comments through email or through voicemail from the Planning Division phone lines.
Okay. I think that we are missing their approval of the meeting minutes for the regular meeting of January 11, 2022.
Next item, consent agenda, I believe.
Oh, here, meeting minutes. Oh, okay.
Yep.
May I have a motion for approve?
I'll make a motion.
Okay.
To approve the meeting minutes of January 11th.
I'll
We have
second.
a second from Vice Chair Malfatti.
Okay, may I have second?
I believe Vice Chair Malfatti seconded. And then let me
Okay.
just take a roll again for that. Chair Abarca,
Yes.
Vice Chair Malfatti,
Yes.
Commissioner Monzon,
Yes.
and Commissioner Ewan.
Yes.
Okay, minutes are approved.
Okay, administrative business. It's meeting report from January 22nd. I think that
Sure.
this is Chris, no?
Yes. It's always me. So let me switch the screen. Can you see the form? Okay. So like we said in the last meeting, we already had covered the December TAC meeting in December, in our December meeting. So we didn't have anything to look at in our January meeting. But here we are with the latest TAC meeting of January 26th. And so let's, if anyone has any specific comments, we'll just go through kind of the issues that our Traffic Advisory Committee reviewed. These are requests or kind of issues brought up by specific members of the public, and this is how staff has responded. 2201-1 North Spruce Avenue in Randolph, we had a request for all-way stop signs at the intersection of North Spruce and Randolph due to speeding. Staff did collect data and did some measurements out there. About 85% of the vehicles that use that street were either in the northbound direction were either going at 20 to 22 miles per hour on average, so no major speeding observed. Southbound side is a little bit faster, 26 to 28 miles per hour, but not beyond, like it'd be concerning if it was like 35, 40, obviously. Other data collection sources like Streetlight did not, showed that the volumes at this intersection were not enough to warrant a multi-stop sign at this location. There are no recorded incidents in the past 5 years. Therefore, TAC did not recommend. Yeah, this is weird. The request for always stop signs, but there's just I think there's an error. It says speed humps, but it's actually the stop signs. So that I'll have staff correct this, or engineering staff correct this, but we did not recommend always stop signs, just because, again, it's one of those that person observing thinks everything is going fast, but actual data doesn't reveal that.
Would it be possible to at least put like one of those electronic speed signs or something? Because we wanna keep this person encouraged that we're doing something.
Mhm. So I believe the process for having those speed feedback signs is that's actually a good point. Let me relay that to our engineering staff. I actually didn't want to speak for them, but I thought when we had the speed feedback, that's only a temporary kind of installation, and it's not meant to be there like forever unless we're putting in like a new pole or something like that. So well, let me relay that comment back to our engineering folks.
Thank you.
Okay, next one was the San Felipe Avenue request for 2 speed humps due to observed speeding. Street light speed survey, same kind of conclusions that 85th percentile of the, or 85% of the vehicles travel at about 20 to 22 in one direction and about 18 to 22 miles per hour on the other direction. There were 5 incidents in the past 5 years. Oops. But however, because of the observed speeds during data collection, again, not recommended for speed humps in this location. Hang on, folks. There's someone looking to enter the meeting. All right, and then let's keep going. 2201-3 Hillside Boulevard in Lincoln, request for a stop sign. TAC did not recommend a stop sign here because there is a future project that would install an actual traffic signal that is scheduled to start in later this year. So putting in a stop sign only to kind of rip it up and replace it would kind of it's kind of like a repeat effort. So that was the decision staff made, is that like there will be a signal here later this year anyways. Same thing with 2201-4 Hillside in Lincoln. There was a request for a speed hump. Same thing. There was same response that TAC did not recommend installing a speed hump here. The future project coming in includes a traffic signal and a road diet between Lawndale and Chestnut to slow down speeding vehicles. And again, scheduled to start in later 2022. So there are improvements on the way here. Okay, 415 Commercial Avenue, request for a handicap parking space along the curb. TAC did not recommend this installation as there is a driveway at the residence and it did not meet the warrants for designation of parking for disabled folks. TAC is going to look into something with code enforcement to check the legality of the double units, because that's one of those things that we're, someone from a possible illegal unit requesting dedication of space of curb space for their unit, and they might not have a legal unit to begin with. So yeah, so that was TAC's response. 600 Linden, request for 2 green parking zones. And I believe the decision was that TAC recommended extending the existing green parking zones along Linden. I think from the grocery to further along the frontage, and then so that will be converted to green short-term parking to facilitate kind of like all of the pickup and takeout. So that's our staff response there. Work order has been sent to do that. Our maintenance division will carry out the extension of those green parking zones. 1080 Sunnyside Drive, requested for red zones along corners. This was not recommended that we go out and paint every kind of like corner curb red, given that parking is already not allowed at corners per the California Vehicle Code. The red curbs highlighted by the requester was done, but not per current maintenance practice or engineering standards. They were just done at a certain time ago. So those curbs will just be left there to kind of like fade away. That's how we're going to respond to that. But yeah, like, so that's the takeaway is not allowed to park at the corner, like right at the corner, because it limits visibility and it takes away space for people to cross the street. 205 Juniper Avenue, there was a request for a handicap parking spot along the curb. We get these a lot at TAC, and it's been a little bit challenging sometimes, but we do have specific standard warrants that they have to meet. So with this one, the TAC did not recommend adding a disabled parking space, as there is a driveway at the residence, and it did not meet those warrants for designation of parking for disabled persons. This is one of those that we actually, looked at Street View. There are 6 blue zones on this stretch of the block. Yes. So, like just reiterating that that's available for everyone. So, yeah. And so there are other disabled parking spaces along Juniper Avenue. So that is, that's how TAC responded to that one. 426 Second Lane, Apartment A, there was another request for a handicap parking space along the curb. It's on Second Lane. That's normally no curb, no definitive parking space. However, because there is absolutely no defined curb line, I believe in this case, this met the warrants for adding a blue zone. So we've seen this on alleys. You'll see it every once in a while where we'll actually just paint the space blue, because it just made it difficult for to put it on anywhere else on the lane. So this one TAC did agree that this one could use one. So okay. There was various work orders. There was not it doesn't really preclude, some like maintenance actions. What else was there? Concerns coming in at 385 through 89 Oyster Point Boulevard, request for a crosswalk due to speeding vehicles and it's unsafe to cross the street. The TAC is actually notifying the project manager of the Oyster Point development project outside, and I think it's Lisa from Swinnerton, to actually comply with this request, because that is something that is because it's in Oyster Point, the development is actually responsible for putting in some of these facilities. So that's the response right now, and our engineering division's following through with that one. Let's see, South Airport in Utah request to install a reflective curb on the first lane of South Airport Boulevard to reduce vehicles going over the median. This was something that our police department kind of received a complaint about this. I think this one was left as an item to be discussed at the next TAC meeting, just because TAC discussed that if we shortened or pulled back the concrete median, it actually kind of decreases like the safety, because more people actually think they have more room to turn. So it has higher potential, and it almost creates some kind of a hazard to that. If someone turns too short, they'll clip the other vehicle that's in the other lane. So maintenance have already added reflectors onto this area of the median, but people run them over and they kind of get displaced. So it's an ongoing item for TAC and our police department to figure out alternatives and solutions for this one. So no conclusion yet. Same thing with 230 Miller Avenue, dedicated parking meter for handicap. I wasn't aware of this one. our PD is coordinating with the nearby church, 234 Miller, to allow the resident to park at the church parking lot. But then I believe this was something that also came out of the construction coordination committee that discussed with the contractors out there on Miller for, I think, Cadence, to possibly move the barricades along Miller closer to their site or to the curb line to allow for that blue zone that's there to remain. But this is something that's still unresolved. Next one was Chestnut and Westboro. Multiple vehicles blocked the intersection. But this one is, there's no resolution yet. It gets a little tricky because it is an intersection that that is owned by Caltrans. So there's the same thing that if we pull back like the concrete curb in this area, there might be an increase in the hazards for that turn lane. So it's an ongoing effort. We'll see if a previous traffic study was done around here and see what we can do about the signal timing. And this is by the new police station. So there's some issues right now with traffic. So we'll see what we can do. That's an ongoing item. And then next one was on 562 Second Lane. There was a request for a signage or some kind of red zone saying no parking area, because at this house they have they're again, it's in the lane. There's no parking. There's no sidewalk. However, all the you park where you can, right? So as long as it's not in front of like a garage. So this house has a wall that faces the street, and there's a door to their storage right there, and that's where the cars park, and they're not able to access that storage area in front of their home. And that has been the constant complaint that can we have some kind of signage that please do not park here, because that is an active doorway for their storage area for the house, and that is not something that they're able to easily move. So it's been a back and forth between the person requesting the signage, and there really was no other way to relocate their door, or that would it would be cost prohibitive to do that. So TAC is helping out by adding a no stopping sign at the location, right at their door, at their storage door. Maintenance division will carry it out. I think they're looking into whether a pole or a sign at the wall would be more appropriate, but I think it might have to be a pole being planted right there at that location. So that's TAC's response to this request. And then finally, we have 740 Del Monte Avenue, request for a crosswalk in front of 740 Del Monte and 748 Del Monte. But if this is not possible, consider installing a school zone signage. This has been a back and forth, and like the requester sent a follow-up email stating that a mid-block crosswalk will be a proactive improvement, because I believe staff had looked at previous incidents and there has been no collisions, and I don't think we have enough information that there's a lot of vehicles using this, but it isn't near a school. So TAC did recommend adding like school signs, like a school zone signage, but we are working with our Safe Routes to School team with the county to see if there's any other improvements we can do. And that's still an ongoing issue right now, and we'll take it up on the next one, see if we are able to put in this crosswalk. So we don't know what to do with this yet. Questions on this one? Commissioner Monzon, are you saying something? You're on mute.
Thank you, Chris. Yeah, I have 3 comments.
Yes, sir.
So start from the last one. I'm very familiar with the 740 Del Monte. Actually,
Mhm.
that's a Grace Covenant Church. And that is a very high traffic, especially on Mondays, Thursdays, and Sunday. And Sunday, they have services in the morning and the PM.
Okay.
So half block crossroad, some sort of flashing will be really helpful because there's a, plus they have a kindergarten or
Some kind of preschool.
preschool. Yes, thank you.
Mhm.
So there
Okay.
is a lot of traffic right there, and there is a very that church actually does like 3 or 4 things for the communities from that area. There is a lot of people from Old Town that goes there, for example. So that'll be, hopefully they can, TAC can see the possibility to help that area. That'd be great.
Okay.
My other comment is on 230 Miller Avenue. Can you
Yes.
elaborate a little bit more? Is that meter with the intention to be used only for handicap?
That's what it's sounding like. I don't have enough detail. If you'll
Right.
allow me, I can send the request. I don't know if I have a copy of this, but I can check in with our engineering folk and see what the specific request was.
And who requested that? The business, the Pound business, or who requested that? Because there's no residential there.
Yeah, there's no resident. It might have been the business. So if you see here,
Yeah.
230 Miller dedicated parking meter for handicap, relayed by FEMIDA, which is with our PD, and then via Ron Lepedis. So it's from
Yeah. I would like to suggest to look more into that, because the business operates from let's just say 9 to 5, and with all the construction coming along, I think we need to be more conscious about locking one space only for that. I'm just saying. Maybe on the new construction side, maybe on the new second phase of Cadence, maybe that area could be a handicap zone. Please, if you can, because it sounds like it's a business request. The other one is, you said that there is a request for handicap on Juniper.
Yes.
Yeah. And you mentioned also that there are like 4 handicap blue zones in that area.
Yes.
There is one in particular that I think I mentioned several months ago, that it is a concern for quite a few of the residents and also for the local businesses in that area. And that is 811 Linden. There is a blue zone. And unfortunately, the residents from that address, 811, they are the only one using it. And the neighbors already gave up because what happens is that, they have a couple of cars. One goes to work and then the other one parks there, and they both have the handicap. And not only that, the car is parked really almost blocking the next door building for the apartment building. So it's very hard for the apartment building residents to actually go into the driveway. So it's a very challenging, and the reason that the residents are not, that they tried, I guess, in the past, but the gentleman that lives in that house, he said that he knows people in City Hall that maybe they shouldn't be just not asking to share that handicap zone. Is anything that we can do about it to help the residents, the businesses there?
Let's work together and actually put up a TAC request form for this one.
Okay.
Just
sure.
because, I was also aware of like a request, not a TAC request that came in from one of the residents I believe on Linden, and said like, too frequently we see, like right after the street sweeping, there's like 4 vehicles that like follow them and then like repark their vehicles and they never move and things like that. It happens everywhere that there's street cleaning, but it's that like the frustration about these things is well documented. So yeah, no, but where it gets tricky with the blue zones and the handicap placards and the blue and the disabled person's parking space, is that's the thing. It's like it's supposed to be for everyone, but we have to clarify as a city where we stand on like time limits for these things, because that's the thing. It's not for a specific household. And at the same time, we need to be moving away from, allocating the space directly in front of someone's house, as a blue zone. Like that's a practice we need to get, move away from. But again, like when I bring that up, they'll be like, what do you have against disabled folks, Chris? Like, so it's a very difficult thing to kind of navigate.
Right, I understand. But if we can work on a case to open it, I think there is enough information. We can do a survey on the next door businesses.
Okay.
Or swing by and take a picture for a week, then the next week, and you will see the same 2 cars parking there. So actually it's very easy if we open a case, easy in the sense of addressing it. It'll be a lot of work to get to that point, but I'll be happy to help. Please.
Okay, sure. Yeah, let's open up a tag case on this one.
Thank you, Chris.
Just because, it gets into a lot of touches on a lot of issues. But for us, it's for staff and like the city is like all these blue zones. That's why they're on the street. They're for everyone. So
yeah, for sure.
So if
we're gonna keep it that way.
Yeah, and if one household is monopolizing it, then that's a little bit of a.
We might be looking in just putting time limit, who
right,
knows,
exactly.
Whatever system that you attack suggested.
Okay, all right, let's do that. I'll note that and let's open up a tag case for it.
Thank you, Chris.
Sure. Was there any other comments on other items?
Chris,
Jolie?
I just had one quick question regarding 562 Second Lane, request for no parking area, red zone, or maybe a no parking sign. How, I know that you said that was kind of undecided at the moment. You're still working on that?
That,
what you said?
Is that the one with the storage?
Yeah, the vehicles block this person's storage room.
I believe that putting in a sign that says no parking is a decision. Whether or not a pole or attaching it to the building, or if there's a way to put in bollards or some kind of barrier to physically deter people from parking there, that's the part that's undecided.
Oh, okay. So I was wondering if there was some kind of an anti-parking like sign or red zone or whatever you said, barriers or whatever. Does the owner plan to park there since the door to his storage room is there? Or
no, I believe hang on, I'll actually work on pulling this up on Google.
I was just wondering if they did do some kind of an anti-parking thing, how would they enforce that if the owner parked there by his door?
Right, exactly. Yeah. No. I believe that there is parking for that household already. That's why they wish nobody parks at that space, because it's they have their own parking.
I see. So the cars were kind of blocking their access, their parking to get in there, right?
I believe so. Hang on, let's take a look.
I'm sorry, I was just not familiar with that area, and I was curious how they could enforce that.
Yeah. So let me share my screen again. Can you see that?
Oh,
So
yes.
I believe this house has their parking here. And then if I just try to move down, there's that storage room, and there's a car that doesn't belong to them blocking that storage door. And so, yeah, so it would be a no parking here. And that's the thing, is that even if we put a no parking sign here, if the owner parks their vehicle here, they can get either towed or they can get cited. So
that's what I was wondering, how they could enforce it for everyone, or how that would work. I see. That's definitely a challenge to get into a storage room for sure.
Right.
Well, thank you for the clarification. I was just curious how that would work if they did.
No. We will never create signs that says parking for this building or this.
Yeah, for this owner only.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Okay, thank you, Chris. I appreciate the
Can
clarification.
we make like a sign, private property? If you will park there, you can be told. This is what my landlord have on his building.
Mhm.
That would be up to the owners.
Right,
'Cause
yeah,
I mean, they could do that if they wanted to, but it wouldn't be enforceable unless the city made it a no parking zone.
exactly, yeah. Because
And we don't know, and we don't know also how that storage was built, right? It looks to me like a little bit tiny entrance.
Right, exactly, yeah. So that's where
Challenge.
we're helping out, yeah.
Chris is
Other questions on this one? And just for the record, I want to acknowledge a member of the public, Thomas Carney. Tom, did you have a comment to make for the commission? Okay, all right, I guess not.
Can we go to the next point, items from the commission?
Oh, actually, second
no?
item, we
Not
have one
yet.
more.
Do we have one more?
Yep, I wanted to make sure we share construction impact resources. I know Commissioner Monzon, it's something we owed you, and apologies for the timeliness because it hasn't been easy either to find answers. So at the conclusion of this meeting, I'll send this out by email to the commission, and it'll be attached to the meeting minutes that's published. That's point one. Our website is working now, so at the very least, we have our latest meeting agenda and latest meeting minutes on the Traffic Safety Commission website, and it will be from now on. From this point forward. Chris had to learn on a Saturday afternoon how to edit the city's website. So then what I'm working on is to have some way to have all of our meeting minutes from like 2021 and 2020 be accessible. That's just taking a little bit more time because I need IT's help for that one. So that's update one. Second update is that we met with our construction coordination consultant being managed by Kitchell, but Omar Galvin. And the reason he hasn't actually reached out to you specifically is that's actually not in his consultant contract to be talking to directly to the members of the public, and he relies more on the code enforcement folks that are assigned to that specific case. So when it comes to construction and the impacts of those construction activities, they are monitored by including Omar, staff, construction coordination committee, which is primarily public works, our capital projects team, the city manager's office. Sharon Reynolds is always on that meeting, and again the consultant. And then all actions from that, similar to the TAC, is then carried out by the code enforcement division. So when there is an offending action done by a construction crew, it's code enforcement that goes out and corrects that action for us. So in this memo that I'm sending out to all of you, just to kind of go over the resources that you have. First is there is a hotline for any kind of construction issues. That's 650-829-4600. You can leave a message there and just say what the issue is, and then that usually is resolved within 48 hours. There is a construction@ssf.net where you can send your, if you have photos, if you have video of that offending action, we can then, staff can then go in and correct that action through there. And again, there's the city website. Just be aware of all of the ongoing construction projects and all the information available, construction.ssf.net. And then for any other traffic safety issues, again, we have like our traffic advisory committee. And so there's a link to the TAC request form that we'll have right on this memo. So you have it with you at all times. And then for any other immediate concerns like potholes, fallen signs, things like that that need absolute attention right away, that's our code enforcement. So see, click, fix, there's a link to that. That's an app that you can download on the phone, or you can submit it through this website link on this memo.
In addition to all of this great information, can we also be there? Because our duties is to be a liaison between the community and the city. It looks like we're missing there on that page. We are the one actually, you know, that could suggest, take a look some of the traffic and safety issues that we have.
Sure, yeah.
Because that's why we're coming together tonight. So I would like to see our name there also.
Okay.
And if we have a suggestion, we can perhaps as a group, as a commission, it could have a better suggestion to any of these great resources that you have provided.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, that goes without saying that this commission is meant to like also be able to receive the, you know, a kind of like these issues. What I wanted to make sure we cover is that, like, you know, because a lot of the issues that have cropped up with regards to at least construction, that they were like, hey, you're like, these construction sites are not providing like adequate signage, you know, like, and things like that. That's something that needs to be corrected right away. Where we, of course, this commission is a resource, but again, like, there's the kind of the presumption that like we will deal with it, but, or we'll take in the comments, but there might be like, we won't meet until next month. So, you know, we want to make sure that there are resources available to everyone where you can get these things handled right away. So that's one of the intent of this. So no, I'll edit it and add our contact on here and then redistribute it.
All right. Thank you, Chris. So just to summarize, so that's why Omar was not able to get back to a resident, me in this case. So what would be the next? So can we discuss it on the next item next month? Maybe we can brainstorm ideas about that as a commission.
Well, the response path, Commissioner Monzon, is that, so let's say issues with construction, we put in we leave a voicemail, send an email, you know, send a request on see, click, fix. That gets assigned a number, and then, or, you know, some way to track that specific request and that specific issue. And then that then goes to our, you know, like it's one of the, it's a summary that gets put into like the construction coordination committee meeting, which happens monthly. But any kind of more immediate stuff, it gets delivered right away to code enforcement to deal with it. So that's our response path. Are you talking about changing that? Because that may be a more difficult thing to do. So just kind of.
No, I think that, so maybe I should bring up the reason why I requested that. Maybe I can you know, mention it again. So the reason that the reason is to reach out to Omar was because he's the person that overseeing that, right? So the concern, the safety concern on the 400 Linden is that the construction is actually very close to the cars. Is the sidewalk is closed, right? But it's actually taking one space of the cars. So the residents very often trying to still maneuver around, walk around that. And in San Francisco, for example, where you live, if you have a construction, you have a tunnel. So in this case, I don't know what is the possibility to do the tunnel, but if there is no tunnel, what type of signage could help. So actually pedestrians cannot attempt to walk through there because
Right.
quite often they're still walking. So I do live a block away from there. So I have firsthand experience that is very often, and I'm just not hoping that there is not an accident. Until there is an accident, then we're all going to react very quick. I like to, that as we go as a, preventive, be proactive, because that's an accident to be happening anytime. So I think that's an item that we can, if we need to open a attack case or something, that's what I was trying to meet with somebody that is professional in that matter, because I'm not an expert on that, but maybe making it look to Omar, what is the danger, and maybe with his expertise or whoever is behind in his team to come up with a solution. That's my whole intention of that, that find extra safety for our pedestrians. We have senior people that live on this, on that side of the street, and they keep coming, on Linden, going to Grand Avenue or vice versa. And quite often it's hard for them to be crossing the street.
Right.
Does that make sense?
No, it makes sense. And so what it's part of the discussion we had internally, including Sharon Reynolds, is that like we acknowledge that like these decisions are being made, and that we should also move away from, like giving the construction crews like our precious like roadway space. So we're working with our engineering division to make sure that our conditions of approval, because that ultimately becomes like that document that like our construction crews, our code enforcement folks will say and look at, for all of these construction activities, like what limits there are. So we want to move away from like kind of giving, like eliminating like that path of travel, that walkway for people. And like in San Francisco, yeah, you're right. Like they create a temporary sidewalk or something like that. So to explore
Right.
like that a little bit more. So this might likely lead to some changes to our encroachment permit requirements to make sure that it's on there, to say like, hey, you need to keep a walkway. If you're going to block a sidewalk, there's got to be a walkway because it helps people. So this is for Rome, and then even for Cadence, we're looking at changes to any conditions of approval that we have for projects moving forward. So like, for example, the 124 airport out in airport in San Mateo, we have this condition of approval that says if you're, as part of your construction activities and your construction plan, make sure that if you are going to require some additional sidewalk space, that you do have a temporary walkway. And so those are things that are enforceable by the code, and again, enforceable by our code enforcement division.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be
Maybe
great
I
if
can-
they could. Yeah.
Changes are on the way, that's for sure. That's what I wanted to
Yeah,
mention.
because it's a long 18 months average for these constructions, and and this is the way I see it too. Another way to see it is, the more that if we improve it, there will be less comments from the residents that what is happening here, because we actually being proactive, right? But if we just there's a lot of construction around that block alone,
Mhm.
and so people gets uncomfortable because they don't even know. And I'm in this commission. I'm trying to figure it out myself as well. But thank you.
Okay.
Chris, may I
Yeah,
ask?
it's maybe I can speak to the walkway issue a little more. So at SFMTA, that's actually what I do in my job in the traffic routing section. Is for construction projects, we try to figure out ways to keep traffic lanes open and sidewalks and crosswalks open. So I definitely, in San Francisco, I see this all the time, and that's why, especially in dense urban areas, it's especially critical to keep that walkway open, even if there's construction work on the sidewalk or in the street, because you know, without an alternative walkway, you know, that doesn't put people on a circuitous route, you know, most pedestrians just end up walking out in the street as a way to cut through past the job site and save time. So, you know, I definitely think that, you know, providing pedestrian access during construction work is definitely a big concern, especially in the denser areas. So if, you know, if there is construction work on the sidewalk, you know, it's not out of the question to provide, for example, a temporary walkway in the parking area, and prioritize the pedestrian access over, you know, temporary loss of parking, for example.
Yeah.
So those are some of the ways that we deal with those kinds of things, or providing, you know, a walkway underneath scaffolding. You know, just food for thought.
Yeah, and I think
Justin, may I ask you what suggestion? Thanks for the comment. What can you? I mean, you have more experience. What would you suggest in this case? Because I don't know.
So, you know, in the downtown area, I haven't been there in a couple weeks, so I can't remember what the sites look like as of now. But basically, you know, if the construction activity encroaches onto the sidewalk and blocks the sidewalk, you know, then the best way to deal with that is to provide an alternative walkway around the area. So, you know, that might mean putting up scaffolding and routing pedestrians underneath that to keep the sidewalk open, or creating like a temporary walkway with barricades in the parking strip along the street. So those are two of the most common ways to accommodate pedestrians and keep a walkway open when there's construction that might impact the sidewalk. Sometimes it can get more complicated. Sometimes it might involve putting a temporary walkway in the street and shifting travel lanes around. It kind of depends on the complexity of the work. But, you know, if in most cases it can be done with, you know, any of those methods.
Thank you.
And I think that might be the issue here, is that like for that specific, the Linden and the 400 Linden, that site might be so constrained that they were not able to provide that walkway, and they're supposed to help guide people by having flaggers there to actually say, hey, this is closed, because, you know, they're doing so much construction that it actually might be a hazard for people to be walking that close to the construction site. But you know, again, that's you know, it depends on whether or not they might have the room to accommodate that. But, you know, we'll.
Hey, Chris, can I make a comment?
Yes, sir. Tom, how are you, sir?
Yes, sir. Just as a suggestion, I go by there with my kids every day going to school. The deliveries are met at the wrong time of the day. Semis come with materials at 10 o'clock in the morning, 12, 11, 1. Busiest time of the day. They take up the middle of the street. You can't get by with traffic. They don't have flaggers. They don't have anybody. They have forklifts actually running in the street with no flagmen at all. So I think the delivery should come in the morning at 6 o'clock, and they should have timetables when to drop off the stuff. I get it. They have no material. They have no room, but they shouldn't have to push the public out into residential neighborhoods to get by. It's give and take. The second part of that question too, just drifting, I'm glad you're touching on ADA. In my neighborhood, we fought very hard to get ADA ramps. We have, in my 2 blocks, we have 5 disabled people. One gentleman with no legs, he has to be strapped in, but he's a constant ride to the hospital because he turns over the wheelchair on the ADA ramps. It's going to be the 3rd time now you're going to put them in 2 years, and they're still not compliant. So I'm just wondering, when can we get the new ADA ramps put back in? They've been done twice. They have to be pulled out again. And do we have a timetable on that? And my neighbor now, she just got paralyzed because she had a double hip replacement. Now she's in a tough way to get to her house because the ramp was put in on one side, but it wasn't put in correctly. But when you go out into the traffic to get across the street, then you run into a sidewalk where they never put in ADA ramp. So they had put in a half compliant ADA ramp that's not compliant at all, if that makes sense. Doesn't have the right grades, doesn't have the right angle, and it's going to be the third time when you guys pull it out again.
No, those are valid questions, Tom. Like, if you want to reach out to our public works folks, because that I wouldn't be able to tell you when we're
did.
in. Yeah. Okay.
I did 2 years ago.
Okay.
And 40 of us neighborhood met out here with Swinton. Swinton is a third party.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And we got a lot of hogwash, and that's putting it mildly. And
Okay.
we were told basically we're lucky to get what we got. So I
Yeah.
don't think it was a good answer. I guess
Right.
it was the answer of the day, but we're still entitled to get the ADA ramps that was promised to us, and that they're actually functioning ADA ramps, because the ADA law is pretty clear. It doesn't say we'll put it in any ways we can just to do it. You're supposed to put it in right.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Hey, Tom, if you wouldn't mind, like, having this question posted onto that construction@ssf.net.
Okay, and who would that go to?
That goes to our construction coordination committee, which has like our public works staff, our capital projects, the city manager's office. I mean, that's if we're talking resources available, please use that, because we'll follow up as staff of this commission, but more because this is, if it was something that was promised by Swinnerton, that I don't understand why they're not following up.
So city staff, which was great, and they're all great people. Swinton are great people too. They all come out, we met, we talked, we showed them, they agreed. The police reports, the ambulance report shows the picking up of the gentleman off the street because his wheelchair turns over, it's electric. When it turns over, he can't get up because he's strapped in. So then either the neighbors pick him up or he gets taken to hospital because he gets hurt more so. So I don't want to belabor this, but we already went that route, but we can do it again. If second time, third time is lucky, we'll try it again.
Okay. That's the resources I have for, available to me as well, Tom. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Chris.
Sure.
Chris, if I may, I don't want to extend the meeting so long.
Please, yeah.
I just had a quick question for clarification. I thank you and your staff for all the data presented this evening, about traffic and safety issues. But this is slightly off the beaten path. I recently received some paperwork to submit my banking information to the Planning Commission, I believe. And I called them and was told that we are now considered vendors for commissioners, and the form asked for a W-9 and for me to declare under penalty of perjury that I'm a vendor. And when I called, I was told we are not considered a city employee anymore. We're considered outside vendors. I didn't know if you had any additional information that I couldn't understand it. And it was kind of a speedy request that we return this paperwork. And
We don't hear you.
Sorry, Jolene, you cut out on the last part. Oh, we can't hear you right now.
We can hear you, Jolene.
I think she's frozen. Can't hear you right now.
There's a stretch.
Oh, she's back, but we can't hear her.
Yeah, we cannot hear you at all, and you're freezing here. Now, let me. I hope you can hear me. This is a little bit of a sensitive matter, so that's actually a reminder for all of our other commissioners here. There has been a change in how we process payments. Oh, Jolene just disappeared. So there has been a change in how we process payments for our boards and commissions for their time. So there has been a requirement. Hermes, like Dana, Justin, have you completed this already?
I haven't.
Actually, I completed, I went to the city visit. I get same information like a Jolene, which
Yeah.
make me very puzzled. Actually, I would like some feedback on it too, because I was thinking that I will pull it back because my impression was that actually I am only setting up the bank, because before I get the check sent by home, this was my understanding was only that you are asking me to set up the payment through the bank. When I went to the city, I get the more or less information same like Jolene get the information, which make me really puzzled why now we are like contractors when before we was like W2. But the other puzzle was that nobody told us before, like that was like a really surprise. Hey, what happened? Like that we wasn't told about it, that like I get the paperwork in the email and nobody mentioned anything about, even in the email, like hello, surprise, now you are not W2 workers, now you will be like something different.
I would like to add something.
Oh, Jolene is back.
I'm back. I don't know what happened, but the sound went out and then the whole thing just went out and says connecting in the spinning wheel. I'm like, what? But that's technology where I totally understand Murphy's Law now. After working in tech department for 18 years. But again, that was basically what I was trying to say is I was kind of blindsided, like, I was told there was a new law January 1st saying that we can't be considered as employees. So I didn't know if you had any information, Chris, and I didn't mean to interrupt you, Dana. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was only saying, I don't know if you hear me, that when I was submitting the paperwork, I was like blindsided because I was thinking that I was submitting the paperwork only for changing it from the sending me the check home, but sending me to the bank. But I was told actually that I will be switched from the W2 to the contractors. I was surprised that how come that nobody sent us email before it that give us the information that we can respond. That was more or less the information only. Hey, fill up this kind of paper, submit it. And there wasn't anything more explanation there, which was really surprised when I went to the city that I get this kind of answer.
Right. Okay.
If I may, I haven't received it. I think you guys received it earlier than me. I received it, if I'm not mistaken, maybe towards the end of January. And that was, I think we're a lot of commissioners there, but I didn't receive it right away. But it caught my attention because it came from ECD, and with all due respect to all the ECD team, all this banking and everything, I will be far more comfortable to deal directly with financial. So I make a call. I don't recall the person that answered. I don't know if it was Kathleen, I'm not sure. And I suggest that in the future to communicate directly, because nothing against each department, but I think the less that you have information from banks, the less liability you have as a department, right? So it actually protects the department and the commissioners. So hopefully, in the future, what I think, it goes back to lack of communication, which is the root of many problems in many places at work, right? So it sounds like by hearing the Jolene and Dana and the little that I, on my phone call, is that it would be great if we've been notified back in November, at least, or December, to be ahead of time what was coming. And it looks like even, I'm not sure if Chris or Adina, you guys were aware, or maybe you just got learned with us. So it kind of like a communication from I don't know if it's financial or whoever in the city, that if there is any changes coming, I think one another courtesy, and also to keep the monsters in our head growing, to have questions, right? Questions and answers about the changes. So, I'm like to hear also if you have any addition, Chris or Adina.
Yeah, just to clarify for everyone, we were also like surprised with this in January or late December or something like that. That's why we had Patricia Kotla from our planning division. This is why we were still in our search for our admin folks. Like we had them reach out, because the direction we were given was that, hey, distribute this information to your various boards and commissions and have them complete the form. Don't want to throw finance under the bus, but it should have been coming from them, because I don't ever want to know what your bank account number is. Like,
It's not too much, Chris.
I know that was another question, because they already had all my information, and I'm thinking,
Right.
okay, payroll already has it, so why do I have to give it to someone else?
Right. Exactly. So
Also, is this regarding legislation, Chris, or is it just something the city decided to do? Do you know? Is it like a state law, like I was led to believe that now you must do it this way, or is it a city decision to do it this way? Do you know?
I do not know. That's why if you are mentioning something about a state law, it may a little bit makes more sense to transition to a vendor system. But again, I wouldn't know. Like the only direction we had was tell your boards and commissions to fill out these 2 forms and submit it. And they gave us, I think we were notified like after our January meeting, and then, hey, they need to do this by the end of January. I was like, I already met with them, so this would have been great to bring up during the January meeting. So that
I just don't know.
Would it be possible to have somebody from financial from the March meeting? I mean, if it's not us, I mean.
My suggestion would be reach out directly to Jen Clemente, and we can give you her email. We can pop it in the chat or shoot you an email after the meeting. She's the financial services manager. This memo with all the directions came from her, and she'll be able to answer your question. She's also very responsive. She's a lovely person. I think she'll be able to answer your questions right away. And because she's already in the finance department, she, works closely with payroll and all the other people who collect these forms, payroll and the accounts payable. So that would be my suggestion. I think that would be the fastest way to get her to get resolution. And I am happy to just put her email right in the chat if that helps.
Yeah, I just don't know how this will impact my filing of taxes. Am I gonna, now owe the feds money every year because no money was withheld, yada, yada. There was just a lot of questions. I might not have signed up again for commission had I known this was coming. It was kind of a shock. So I don't know how that's.
It's mean that this, it's for all the members of all commissions, yes?
Yes,
For,
all boards and commissions, all boards and commissions.
For all commission.
Mhm.
Okay, it's mean that before, when we have the W2, it's mean that we have with the city, the pension, they was taking the stuff from the Medicare, all this kind of stuff. It's mean that all this kind of stuff is going away. Do I am understanding right?
Again, I think these are questions that finance can help you with. These are not questions that Chris and I are. I mean, we have all this. We don't have any information about this.
Okay.
The only information
I mean, just to be completely transparent, I do not know. I am not a financial professional. Neither is Chris. We don't know how this works, and the best we can do is we have a great finance department and they can help you with it.
Yeah. So let's do it this way, commissioners. To get clarification, why don't you send jen.clemente@ssf.net, send her an email, CC Tony Razi,
Yeah.
so that, because it's a little, this is bordering on like sensitive topics, so leave me and Adina and the rest of commission out of it. But like we'll make sure you get the information that you need and the clarifications about this, revised process.
Yeah, it was confusing. It came very late. It's unfortunate. There wasn't like staff didn't get any training on how to roll it out. So I think the best way to do it is to just go directly to Jennifer. She does it all day long, so she'll be able to help.
So let's do it that way. Just send Jen an email, CC Tony, so that we kind of can, at least Tony is aware that, you are owed a response specifically about this kind of sensitive topic.
Tony's email, tony.razi@ssf.net.
Yes.
Is that Tony's email? Okay, thank you.
I know this is probably a financial question, but in case you know, so in the interim, while we get this paper resolution for this new update paperwork, the payment for the January will be on hold, or that's happening?
I believe it'll be on hold until, because this new system was supposed to be active for January. So you were supposed to receive your payment under this new system in January. So until you complete the paperwork and get these clarifications, I believe your payments will be on hold.
Okay, I complete the paperwork. I didn't receive anything either.
Right, your W-9, Dana.
Okay.
I'm like totally bowled over. But thank you, Chris. I'm not expecting you to be accountable, but I am disappointed. There were just no answers. I've worked for this school district for quite a few years, and we pay our personnel commissioners and board members through our payroll system. And I was just kind of blindsided by this new rule. And I believe someone kind of alluded to that it was effective January 1st, like it was a state law or something. And I was just very confused on all of this.
Yeah, it was strange to me too, because I was last year on unemployment, and when I was filling up the paperwork for EDD, it's like a commissioner was like somebody who is receiving regular payment, like a W-2. It's mean that it was strange to me too. Now that we are like Uber drivers.
Exactly.
If you're going to reach out and if you're going to email Jennifer and Tony, I would also ask about the pay. Just kind of get that out there. I think that's a really fair question, and we don't want it to get lost. So please,
when you reach out, bring up like that you haven't been paid for January and ask when that's coming. The previous system was that we filled in timesheets for each commission member. That's how, and then that automatically took care of it and got you paid for your time. This new system actually does not then, I think on our end, we don't fill out timesheets for anyone, any of our commissions anymore after, at least that's what I'm aware of. But yeah, let's keep with that path and email Jen and CC Tony, and then we'll check in with them and make sure you have answers before our March meeting.
Where is this payroll? Where do we log in to do these timesheets?
So
if I'm understanding correct, so we're essentially logging in our own time now. Is that how it works?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, I
Chris,
think we call
I have one more. I'm sorry. I know
don't
we're
understand.
all on overtime right now. We passed the hour, but
You'll
more
have to,
questions.
you'll have to log that yourself,
Wow.
Hermes.
Now,
So I'm
Yeah,
just,
this is confusing. I'm just reading this memo. I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I
Oh,
wish
it's-
I wish I
Yeah,
understood this.
Total,
Yeah.
and I got to
totally
fill out 2
pulled
time
over.
sheets.
I
Yeah.
don't,
Yeah, exactly.
I am missing something. Now we are adding our own time. Now we will be like going somewhere to tell you how much we spent with you, like time, the like where are we logging in? I lost you somewhere.
Exactly, yeah. Hey, like
Yeah, where are we logging in?
so
Well,
there,
Let's also check. It says right there. The
that you're
time
supposed to
entry,
submit a timesheet to us. That's sort of the,
but then it says the admin, the division's admin will be your point of contact.
which they didn't tell us.
Okay,
So-
okay, we need to, so I think I would, I think everybody needs to do a little work on this. We can do some work on our end and try to figure out if there's something that we need to, like, if there's something our admin needs to do.
Mhm.
But I think please contact finance immediately and try to get the paperwork resolved and try to make sure they know if you haven't been paid. That's really important. So we can get that resolved immediately.
Chris, can you email me this memo that's on your screen?
Yeah.
I'd appreciate
Yeah.
seeing the email.
That was part of my update for all of you, including the
Oh, okay.
construction resources
Okay,
little memo.
great.
After I edit that one, but I'll send this because you need to refer to this.
Yeah, all of us, please.
Also, since now I am a vendor, may I submit a change order to my monthly payroll? The confusion, I may have
Get
to
more.
submit a change order for double pay or something. Interest on the January payment, how does that work? I'm sorry, I have to make light of something during this crazy COVID time. Oh, goodness. But thanks for your help, Chris. I appreciate it very much. And you too, Adina. Thanks.
Yeah,
Sorry for the
Thanks so much.
confusion. Yeah, this is.
I have one more question, please. So I'm just before I forget, I was checking the different commissions, and if I think that what we get paid is called pertinent, right? Pertinent, or what is it? Stipend.
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 Oh.
Stipend.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
I was wondering what he was saying. I thought you were
Right.
sounded like a medical pill or something. Esteban.
That's what I need. Yeah, I need some medical pills.
Yeah. So yeah, it is a stipend. Like
Okay,
that was
the
approved by council.
stipend.
Mhm.
It was since we're talking about these changes. So we would all the other commissions or some of the other commissions, they get one flat rate, and we do get two different ones. Can you elaborate a little bit on that?
What do you mean two different ones?
Because we get two payments, right? One for the parking place and the other for the stipend.
No, sir. Per the municipal code, if you actually look at that if you are serving on the parking place commission and the traffic safety commission, you only get the one payment. Yeah.
Oh, it's the one payment.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's the clarification that was okay. Because I remember at one point we were getting half and half, but right, maybe Jolene or Dana, how you were getting it? Are you getting only one?
Originally, it was $50, but then when they combine the two commissions, it's always been one payment as far as I know.
Okay. So
one
it's one. It's
Because
one
it
payment.
is a little bit confusing, like in the September, the paperwork which was coming was like 2 hours, $50. In the December, I get paper like 1 hour, $100, which is exactly the same, but like why in the September was 2 hours, $50 each?
I can address this. Let's just be cognizant that we're not talking about traffic safety anymore. But that half hour, 50, or like however it was being calculated, that's how your time was entered by our admin staff, like Jen Rosas used to do it. The 1 hour for and $100 was the stipend was increased by council, right? And you get 1 hour of service, you get that $100 payment. That was how Tony Rossi puts in the timesheet.
So
So
it's just different people filling out the
I see.
forms. That makes
Okay.
sense.
So it's the 100, okay.
yeah,
Oh,
for
okay.
your time, you get $100. So the faster you run through a meeting, the faster you get $100. So when we drag on for like an hour and a half talking about finance,
Now, we're
Now
Tony-
that I'm a, now that I'm a
No
vendor, Chris,
overtime.
it's gonna be a change order, you know, now that I'm a vendor. Oh, gosh, I hope this isn't posted on the website. We can't have.
oh, when I type up the meeting minutes, this will be fun. Like,
Oh, gosh, bless your heart, Chris, for putting up with me. I appreciate your help very
but
much.
Thank you for some explanation because it was really confusing, like especially when we didn't get all the pieces together.
yeah, no. So let's get you the answers you need. You know what to do after this meeting, and let me send this to you. Then give me some time to edit the resources memo. I'll send that separately. But this memo that I have on screen, I'll send this to you right after we end.
I have to begin starting my new business, I guess. Take care, everyone. Thank you so much.
We have a motion to adjourn. Are there any other committee comment or commission comments?
I am fine.
I
I'm
think,
hungry.
All right.
Okay.
Hungry.
Like,
I'll take-
the meeting is now adjourned at 6:49 p.m.
Okay.
Thank you very much for
Thank
today.
you,
All
everyone.
right. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you.
You
next
all are a
month.
joy to
Thanks,
work with.
everyone.
Thank
all right,
you.
thank you.
So,
Good evening.
Take care.
Thank you.
bye-bye.
Have a good night, everyone. Thank you.